through, because I just, it
Are
could
there
be
any
in the, it could be
presentations?
in the executive
Good evening,
session.
everybody. We want to welcome you to the Board of Education meeting tonight. It is August 16th. It's a minute or two before we're going to start the meeting. I always open right now the meetings a little bit and talk a little bit because we are getting the YouTube link set up, and the YouTube link is always about a few seconds behind. So with that, I take some time just to review some information. If you would like to view the Board of Education meeting on our YouTube link, you can find it on our website under Departments, Board of Education, and then you would click on the date of the Board of Education meeting that you would like to see. Now that we are in person for the Board of Education meetings, we no longer have the Zoom component of it where we allow people to speak virtually, but you can watch it. Public session is granted, of course, during the Board of Education meeting. It is 3 minutes in length. You must state your name and address. There are other rules and procedures for our public participation following board policy. If you'd like to visit that, you can do that as well. And lastly, I want to also state that, as you may see or cannot see, Dr. Mary Jane Roberts has a slight injury, so she may need to get up and stretch, and she may stand towards the back of the room. With that, Holly, are we good to go? Okay, so it is now 7 o'clock. President Otto, would you please start the meeting?
Welcome, everyone. Mr. Fauski, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Dr. Knight-Ebowitz,
Here.
Dr. Howard,
Here.
Mr. Mead,
Here.
Mr. Otto,
Here.
Dr. Roberts,
Here.
all present.
Dr. Thoreau, do you have a recommendation on the agenda?
It is recommended that the board approve the agenda as presented.
So do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Presented.
Presented.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Would you please call the roll?
Dr. Roberts,
Yes.
Dr. Howard,
Yes.
Dr. Knight-Ebowitz,
Yes.
Mr. Mead,
Yes.
Mr. Otto,
Yes.
motion passes.
Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? The Butler Tech and Career Development School Liaison Report, Mr. Mead.
Thank you, Mr. Otto. Butler Tech's board meeting is, of course, tomorrow night, so our last one was in the middle of July. But a lot of it has been happening at Butler Tech, as always. The first thing is Butler Tech has made a proposal to the county commissioners. I'm sure some people have read this in the paper, for $24 million for 2 aviation programs, one in Middletown and one in Hamilton. We'll have to wait and see how that proposal goes. The idea is that those are fast-growing career fields, and expanding our program into Middletown and Hamilton area would be helpful to students looking into those careers. Butler Tech High School started already, and so far so good. I think the Butler Tech High School issues that's going to affect us down the road, I mentioned last meeting, is that Butler Tech will no longer do intake interviews to decide who gets in programs. They're going to do it randomly. I do have some concerns about that. We're a small district. If randomly might shut out, and we could randomly find no Talawanda kids got in, or very few. So I will be keeping an eye on that new process they're using. I also was able to go to one of their adult ed. They have a lot of adult ed programs. One of the adult ed graduation programs for the welding class and the industrial maintenance technology class. I just encourage the Talawanda community to be aware Butler Tech does have a lot of adult ed. If you're in need of a career change and/or to upgrade your skills, I know we're also looking into opening 2 new medical programs in the adult ed program. I know that later today, Ms. Gregory, if she's here, is going to bring 2 officers up, and I congratulate them in advance. And I know right now our FFA students who are also Butler Tech program are having a meeting pretty much right behind us. I think they might have been hoping for a cookout, but that may not happen. They're going to have some kind of water balloon fight. I think nature is helping them out in that one. But we have those 2 satellite programs here, as well as a career tech program with Mr. Druggers. And a new thing in our career tech at the high school is a program called Rise Up, which is a Butler Tech program that Mr. Druggers is going to do here at Talawanda. In the Rise Up program, students will be able to get 12 what they call industrial credentials, which they can then use for their graduation. If there are students maybe who have trouble passing some of those state tests, not everybody does well on standardized testing. This gives them a different option with a career credential to get their diploma. And so it gives them industrial credentials in the retail field. And Mr. Druggers is teaching one of those classes this year. It was just piloted last year. So that's good news for a lot of our students who need different routes to graduate from high school. And that's my report, Mr. Otto.
Thank you, Mr. Mead. The Legislative Liaison Report, Dr. Knight Abowitz.
The state legislature is not in session until September again, so I don't have a report tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Knight Abowitz. The Arts and Athletic Liaison Report, Dr. Howard.
Just a couple of quick mentions. Fall sports are up and running. Golf and tennis began their matches 2 weeks ago. The other sports are going to begin this weekend. So check the calendars, see what events, what matches, what games are being played when, and let's come out and support when we can. Also, I just spoke briefly with Mr. Marston before coming on, and marching band is up and marching. He said they've got good numbers participating, and they are back into full marching kind of mode. And he's excited that ensemble work will start with school on Wednesday.
All right, thank you, Dr. Howard. The Student Achievement Academic Liaison Report, Dr. Roberts.
I'm happy to report that I was able to take a tour of all of the barns at the Butler County Fair, being led by students from our FFA. They were Olivia Zemkert, Hannah Brewer, Rachel Duban, Brian Evans, Austin Weekly, Abby Garland, Anna Abbott, and Brooklyn Conrad. It was a wonderful 2 hours. We got to see their projects, their animals, heard about what they had to go through as far as raising them and the whole process. I know one of the questions that was asked was, is it hard to give it up? You know, if it was a lamb, for example, or a larger animal, such as a cow, you know, and they said, well, you know, we do get attached, but we realize what we have to do. I was so impressed with the way they did. Their leadership skills were wonderful. They spoke very, very well. They answered all our questions. They made us feel really, really special. And then it ended that we got to have lunch with them. So again, I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Roberts and everyone who works with our FFA program. I have one more thing, and you'll have to give me just a second because I couldn't navigate my computer tonight, so it has to be on my phone. One of our social studies teachers reported that the National History Day essay contest was won by Michelle Mayo. Congratulations to our high school student, Michelle, on her recent accomplishments. In the spring, she signed up for the National History Day essay contest, where she chose to write in the National History, category of Communication and History, the Key to Understanding. Her research and work titled Kindling the Flame of Revolution, Committees of Correspondence in Colonial America earned her the #1 essay representing the state of Ohio in May. Then her essay was selected as the national winner. Congratulations to Michelle.
Mary Jane, I've asked Holly that if we could have Michelle come our next meeting and congratulate her in person and maybe bring her up for a picture and celebrate that, because that's a tremendous accomplishment.
Absolutely. I will certainly see if that can happen.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts. The state legislative platform from Dr. Roberts.
Again, because I sit on the platform committee at the State Ohio School Boards Association level, and we don't stop work when the convention meets in November. We continue to work on the platform. And the platform is what we share with legislators to assist them in understanding what school boards do and why we have to do the things we do to have students succeed. And so Saturday morning, July 30th, we met again through Zoom for 3 hours, and we went through many, many different items. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them, but we did spend a considerable amount of time with supporting legislation that creates an inclusive environment that ensures all students are provided the opportunities for achievement and success. Having the resources available at the local level, which you know that we're always concerned about the budget, and they just passed one, to give schools like Talawanda, who are basically flatlined as far as the resources that we get from the state right now, to really fund and address disparities in discipline with a lot of groups, fund equity education throughout the state of Ohio, provide districts, remove and actively repair social injustice to all positive educational opportunities for all of our students. The second section that we spent a lot of time working on was the state school report card. You know, we've been really, really concerned about how easy or difficult it is to interpret and how much better it would be if it wasn't punitive, but giving positive supports and understanding where we are coming from with that. So we have spent a lot of time again on that. There is a new focus on the report card. It's taking a lot of time because many legislators are not educators. And that's not a negative, that's just the way it is. And so for them to be able to look to Ohio school boards for guidance and asking questions and looking at what we support in that respect. So, you know, we want to include we want to make the overall rating on the state report card a meaningful indicator of the quality of the school district. We would like to have them provide school districts with an appropriate amount of time to inform parents, students, staff, and communities about the changes to their state report card, which we hope will continue. We also want to be sure that the graduation rate is computed as it should be for the state of Ohio. And we oppose things that do not include all students in the baseline, beginning in kindergarten and continuing through that third grade. So that's my small report, but I think it's important that people understand that many of the committees that we serve on don't just meet once a year, but we continue to meet because this platform then will be brought back to the entire Ohio School Boards Association at our convention in November. That concludes my reports.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts. Resolutions and presentations, Dr. Thoreau.
I'd like to call up Stephanie Jones, who's the Director of Student Services, to give us the special education report card update. At this point in time, just for your information, only the special education report card results have been released. The other report card, rough draft has, but it has not been released. And once it is released, we will provide you with information about that too.
Good evening. Every year, districts throughout Ohio get a rating on the evaluation system in their special education programs. So in case you're unfamiliar with what all that entails, I'm going to read it straight from ODE. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Improvement Act of 2004 established a series of special education indicators to measure each school district's services and results for students with disabilities. The Ohio Department of Education works with stakeholders to set annual targets or goals for how districts should perform on these indicators. Every year, districts receive a special education profile that shows whether they're meeting their goals over time for students with disabilities. The design of the special education profile helps districts use this data about services and outcomes for students with disabilities to keep improving their special education programs. I'm happy to report that Talawanda scored the highest you can. We met all of the requirements for all of the indicators, and we have no improvement plans to write based on meeting all those indicators. So that was great news for the special education department. Thanks.
Thank you. That is good news.
At this point in time, I'd like to invite Sharon Gregory and the FCCLA state officers to the microphone.
Hello, I'm Sharon Gregory. I teach FCS here at the high school and the FCCLA instructor. This year we're lucky here at Talawanda to have, our state secretary, Lily and Shelley, who will be a 10th grader. And we also have Region 4 Officer Taylor Gregory, who will be a freshman. So it's an honor to have, there's only 5 state officers, and Lily's one, and there's only 5 regionals, and Taylor's one. So Talawanda is lucky enough to have one of each. So it's an honor. We did have one last year, and if you've taken a wander down my hallway, we have hung the plaques. So Karina Morris was a state secretary last year also. So she's hung up there. So we just wanted to thank you. They're going to say a little bit, well, my freshman daughter, who doesn't want to talk today, so but Lily does. But I just wanted to thank the school board and the community for supporting the kids and everything we do. We do a ton of service projects and do a lot of stuff that are to try to give back to the community and for the community, but also a lot of leadership. And as you see, they've really strived and are doing great things. Lily has great hopes of, she wants to be a national officer in 2 years. So that's a huge accomplishment. So, and she will do that. She's bound and determined. So I want to thank you for that. She wants to say a little bit, and I will then, that was all for me. We did compete at nationals this year, even though it was virtual. Lily, she got first in the nation on her leadership project, which is awesome. And then Taylor got silver in her project. And we also had another team place gold, and another team got gold and also third in the nation. So this was the first year they recognized first, second, and third in the whole nation. So that was really an honor to have so many here from Talawanda. So I will let Lily talk, and then we'll be done. But thank you.
Hello, I would just like to say thank you for the countless opportunities you guys have provided at Talawanda. It really has meant the world to me to be able to go through this organization from when I was a 7th grader all the way up to now when I'm a sophomore. I've been through it through COVID. I've done it when it was normal. And throughout all of it, our main focus is family, career, and community. We want to make sure that every single person feels that they have a family, that they can accomplish their career goals, and that they have a place in the community. So thank you so much, Talawanda, for just allowing us to have this organization here and to be so powerful with it and have the amazing regional and state officers. So thank you so much.
Don't go anywhere because I know Mrs. Morse would like to take a picture of all of you too. And I don't know if the board has any comments too.
I'd just like to say congratulations. My goodness, to place first and to have two people representing us, how awesome is that? Thank you for being such good representatives too.
And thank you, Mrs. Gregory.
They're coming up. Yeah, you guys want to take a picture? Hang on a second.
I'd like to open up the meeting to the public now. Just a reminder, you have 3 minutes to speak. We want to make sure that everyone has a chance, so please make sure you follow the 3 minutes. If you want to just step up now to the microphone, please state your name and your district.
Hello, my name is Timothy Ritzy, Oxford Township. I'm here to talk about the masks. Mandates are not necessary to protect our kids. Information, truth, and common sense are all that free Americans need. I've had the distinct pleasure on numerous occasions in the Navy where my life depended on personal protective equipment. Fires, toxic gas, flooding, you name it. I became extremely proficient at researching the proper protective equipment correctly and factually. I applied that knowledge and experience to this topic as well. First, you need to know where to get your information. The CDC, WHO, Dr. Fauci, and the news have changed their story time and time again, from it's just 2 weeks to masks to vaccines. Empty promises, empty words. It's 18 months later now. Stop blindly trusting politics and research it correctly. I went to OSHA and NIOSH standards, trusted resources that have been used in every instance before this issue became politicized. Sorry. And the ones we should continue to trust. What I learned is this: source control masks like those proposed will not protect your kids in the enclosed environment of a schoolhouse from any respiratory virus. The correct level of protection against any respiratory virus is an N95 NIOSH rated mask. this mask is the key to taking our right to decide back. Because not only will an N95 actually protect your kids, but it will protect them even if I decide not to force mine to wear one. If you want to protect your kids, get them an N95. That is your right as a parent, and I will defend your right to make that choice until the day I die. In return, I am asking that every American here, board members and fellow parents alike, respect my freedom to decide what is best for my children. If there was truly no other way, I would agree with universal masking. But there is another way, so don't skip steps that tread on parents' right to choose. Parents, too long have we sat on the sidelines and put all responsibility for our kids' health on elected officials like these. This is unfair to them and a disservice to ourselves. Let these board members get back to doing what we elected them to do and take responsibility for your kids' health decisions back. Ask yourself this: if we let them decide this now, what will they be allowed to decide for your kids next? And it's not their fault. No mandate is necessary to make us care about our kids. Trust me, we care about them more than any government elected official ever possibly could. Parents are and should be the final authority over their kids' health decisions, not each other's kids, their own. If you agree with masks, let your kids wear them. But do not delegate your authority as a parent to make that decision to anyone else, because a day will come when you do not agree. And on that day, you will realize that this was a freedom you never should have surrendered. I sacrificed 6 years of my life to support and defend freedom overseas. I never imagined I would come home and find myself fighting for it in our schools. Do not mandate masks. Let each parent decide what is best for their own kids. Thank you.
Folks, this will go a little quicker if we can keep sitting. All right, thank you.
Hi, my name is Jim Davis. I live at, my office is at 5141 Morning Sun Road. I'm a pediatrician in town, and I've been taking care of this community's children for the last 39 years. And my understanding is the Board of Education has been asked to act in a responsible way to protect all of our children. What we learned in the past year is that while the N95 mask is the best type of mask, that masking in general clearly decreased the frequency of respiratory illness last year. In my office, I saw less strep throat, less ear infections, less pneumonia, less upper respiratory tract infections. It's the lowest number of respiratory infections that I've seen in my entire career that lasted 39 years. And clearly, what we didn't know until last year is that masking in the way that we did clearly decreased the spread of all those respiratory infections, decreased the spread of COVID. The American Academy of Pediatrics has issued a statement that said that masking is important, and while some people can't be vaccinated, particularly in our younger age groups, masking is our best way to spread the disease. I do not understand why people wouldn't want to do the best possible way to protect our teachers and our children by providing them an environment that decreases the spread of this disease. It has killed 5 million people. And while some people, the whole point of vaccination is that most of us live through measles or mumps or chickenpox or the other vaccine-preventable diseases, but there's a small percentage who have far-reaching ramifications, neurological problems, or death. COVID is just like that, and if we do what we can to decrease that spread of the disease, then we're protecting our teachers and our children. I just don't understand why we wouldn't want to do whatever we could to decrease that spread.
Folks, when you have a chance to speak, you can speak. I think we should be respectful of each other. For the next person.
Brother, disappointed. My name's Dr. Sean Brooks, PhD, Oxford. I have 48 publications, including 23 books. I've studied health, medicine, anatomy, and physiology for approximately 21 years. Dr. Robert Malone, who created the messenger RNA vaccine, has said no one should ever take these jabs ever, under any circumstance whatsoever. He created it. and he says don't ever do it. So let me explain what's going to happen to the people who have taken it. Excuse me. The people who have taken it are going to die in the next 6 months to 3 to 5 years for 3 reasons. Number one, you have dramatically decreased your own immune system by 35%. The first jab did it by at least 15. The second did it by 35 now. If you take any booster shot, you will die. That's it. You take a flu shot in the future, you will die. The second reason, antibody-dependent enhancement. Antibody-dependent enhancement is what is happening with these jabs with everybody who has taken them. Unless, of course, you've taken a placebo, but there's no way that you would know that. So given that fact, antibody-dependent enhancement tricks the entire body into believing that the cell that's eating the pathogen is eating it when it isn't. It ends up leading to what's called a cytokine storm, which causes organ failure. That will cause your death, and there's no stopping that. No amount of drugs will stop that. The third thing, blood clotting. Everyone who has taken the jabs is blood clotting. If you don't believe me, there's a way you can find out. Take what's called a D-dimer test. What that does is that detects blood clotting at the microscopic level. They're cutting full blood clots out of people right now. As I'm talking to you, millions have died from the jabs. In your last meeting, you advocated for people to take the jabs potentially in the future, along with wearing masks. And I heard parents say the same thing. So to the parents who are actually considering jabbing their own children, you're going to sterilize them permanently. People who have taken the jabs are sterilized. 80% of women who have been jabbed have lost their children in the first trimester. You can't have kids. You've also injected yourself with the equivalent of HIV. You can now no longer breastfeed, donate blood, donate organs, donate blood plasma, nor bone marrow. If you don't believe me, try to donate blood and blood plasma and find out what happens. You will be denied. Unless, of course, you live in California, in which case they're allowing people to donate toxic blood with spike proteins in it. The jabs create spike proteins. They're in the jabs themselves, and they create it by snapping your RNA in half. You are no longer a human anymore. You are something else, and you are susceptible to countless diseases. Now, here's what's going to happen in the future very quickly.
Sir, you have 15 seconds.
Great. I don't know what percentage of your staff has taken the jabs, but your school is going to close. You will not stay open. You will close because they will fall ill and they will die. That will happen in all of your buildings. It's already happening.
All right, thank you, sir.
I bet it is. It's already happening.
Sure.
Good luck,
Thank
because
you.
nothing can stop what's
Thank
coming.
you, sir.
Looks like,
We'll let everyone else speak first. and
it's
then
all right, Jim. It's all right, Jim.
Next person.
Looks like nobody else wants to.
Hi, Ron Silico, 6244 Hester Road. Good evening, Talawanda School Board members and school community. I am speaking on behalf of my 2 sons as part of a grassroots community group and nearly 500 petition signers asking to make mask wearing optional for the students. At the conclusion, I would like to submit this speech, my supporting documentation, and list of petition signatures for public record. In situations where emotions are high and health professionals have different viewpoints, taking a step back and looking at the data to determine what the risk factors are to our entire community is of critical importance. And looking at CDC data, there have been 349 deaths out of 73 million children ages 0 through 17 during this time frame. For the 2018-2019 flu season, which lasted 9 months fewer, there were 479 deaths. Thankfully, our kids 0 to 17 have had a near 0 death rate from COVID. Since April of 2020, there have only been 15 hospitalizations ages 0 through 19 in Butler County in the past 16 months. In making this request, we are asking the board to look at our local situation rather than engaging in medical nationalism. The national case average per week is 2.52 per 1,000. Butler County just went to about 1 over 1 per 1,000. In Oxford, we're at 0.9 per 1,000. After reviewing this data, our group believes this choice should be made by parents, guardians, their children, and personal doctors. There are 17 plus months of data and many advances in the prevention and treatment of COVID. Our family practitioner has advised us that the negative physical and mental factors of extended mask wearing far outweigh any potential protection. Kids of all abilities need to have access to all of their communication faculties to help them succeed in the classroom and socially. Our group would like to know at what data point, cases, hospitalizations, or deaths, the school board decided to put the mask mandate in place, and at what data point the school board will rescind the mandate. We would also like to know what mask studies the board has used to demonstrate mask efficacy. Thank you for your service, and God bless us all. Best wishes to the health and happiness for the kids this school year.
My name is Kimberly Carter, 2653 Eagle View Drive, Lanes Mill. I'm a registered nurse for 12 years, and based on that, I have seen a lot in the last 18 months. Patients in the hospital, patients in my facility, okay? And what I have seen has devastated me psychologically and emotionally. My child, my children that are still in your schools have been devastated psychologically and emotionally. The irreparable damage that has been caused from all of this is unknown at this point. But I will educate you on a few things because it seems as though you guys may have forgotten. According to Ohio Revised Code, and that would be 4731.31 and 4731.34. The mask, per the FDA, is declared, section 201H, definition number 2, is designated as a medical device. None of you up on that board are medical professionals, which means that even suggesting that somebody put a mask on their face is a 5th-degree felony per Ohio Revised Code. Second, according to the Declaration of Independence, maybe perhaps you guys were not paying attention in school, but let me read this to you. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. We are the governed. You work for us. That whenever the form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. We are the authority of our children, not you. You are here to educate them, not mandate them. A mandate is not a law. No, a mandate is not a law. You cannot suggest what our children put on their face.
You have 15
Children
seconds.
Between kindergarten and age 8th grade, their brain is in full development, and a lack of oxygen that these face masks provide will hinder that growth.
Thank you, ma'am.
They are a breeding ground of strep, staph, bacteria, increases the risk of upper respiratory infection and bacterial pneumonia, Legionnaire's disease, as well as skin infections and outbreaks. My child will not be showing up with a mask on their face.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Bays. I live at 3650 Harris Road. I'm a mother here to represent the school and the children and these families, as well as a respiratory therapist. I want to give you some statistical data to keep in your mind as you make decisions about our children's health. Last year, there was a 7% drop in child mortality in the ages of 5 to 14 range. If you think that these parents don't know how to protect their children through a pandemic, you are wrong. 7% drop. All summer, these children have been playing at the aquatic center without a mask, in close proximity. All summer, these children have been at summer camps without a mask, in close proximity. All summer, these children have been at your schools in close proximity without a mask. I ask you, what is the difference between the summer months and August 18th, when all these children have to wear a mask? Many of you spoke last month about stopping in the middle of a marathon. You know when you stop when you're lost. And this board is terribly lost. They are lost in the efficacy of a mask. They are lost in politics. But what is not right for either of us is being stripped of the freedom to choose what is right for our children. According to Ohio Senate Bill 22, it is unlawful to mask a healthy population. These children are healthy. Furthermore, it is unlawful to quarantine or isolate any child that has not been diagnosed with a communicable disease. When are you, as the board, going to take responsibility of letting these kids be kids? Is it going to take a lawsuit for isolating our children, for not wearing a mask? Or a loss of revenue when these parents start taking their children one by one to another district?
Ma'am, thank you.
Hey, good evening. My name is Stephen Schnell. I live in Oxford with my wife and my son. I want to thank the board for taking the time to hear our input, and I hope more residents come forward and give their input. Happy to speak with any members of the board. Sorry if you can't hear me. I'm happy to speak with any members of the board or anyone else and have a friendly dialogue, open discussion on any of these matters. Look, I know people are afraid, all right? I understand that. I can see fear in people's eyes. But if the last 18 months have taught us anything, this disease attacks the old. You look at the statistics nationally and in Ohio, the oldest 10% of our population make up 75% of the deaths. When you scope that down to Butler County, we've had 4,600 cases in adolescents, 0 to 19 is how the ODH classifies them, in Butler County. 4734, I think it was today. Do you know how many of those kids have passed away of COVID? 1. Now that is sad and that is a tragedy and it happened last December. But that is 1 out of 4,700, not 1 out of 10 as it is in an older population. I think people need to take some assurance from the data and the statistics and try to meter their fear, because you don't make good decisions when you're fearful. Everybody knows that. We've all done it, all right? So are we tailoring this policy specific to the cohort of our school, or are we tailoring this policy just in general terms to the population at large? That would be a question for the board that I would have. The CDC tells us 27 million children have had this virus and recovered from it. 27 million out of about 73 million in the country. 40%, wholly 40% of the population. That means out of these 4 young ladies sitting here, well, there were 4, now there's 3, chances are 2 of them have already had it. So why would we mandate that they have to wear a mask? Is it theater? So you're going to make 2 of those 4 students, or what would it be? 10 out of 25, average class size, I think. You can make 10 out of those 25 students wear a mask just to placate the fears of other people? That makes no sense to me. Is it just to kind of give an air of perceived safety? Why? I mean, these are the questions that these people have. This is why they're so fired up. They want answers. Butler County had the 4th highest suicide rate in Ohio pre-COVID. The damage that we're visiting on these children by forcibly masking them is immense. Who is going to be accountable for the psychological and the educational and the developmental damage? Is it the board? Is the board going to be accountable for that?
Time's up.
As an executive body, you should take the input from the experts, weigh that, and make the decision for the betterment of the whole, not just swing it all the way to one. If the budget guy tells you one thing, you're not going to make a whole cloth decision based on that. The same should be applied in a health sense. You need to balance that risk for what's best for our kids. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my input. I do appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Summer Garland, Hanover Township. Thank you for your time and for allowing me to speak this evening. I believe that every parent here wants what is best for their child. But because we all make decisions based on our personal lived experiences, our morals, and our values, there is a difference in our opinions on what is best. We will never all agree on this issue, which is why I am asking you to give families a choice in whether to mask or not mask our children in this school. There is scientific data and peer-reviewed and published articles to support both sides. We all need to spend our time and our energy as parents and teachers and administrators and doctors doing what we need to do in our lives, educating children and taking care of the people in our own household. We are not going to change each other's minds about this issue. What I am asking for is a compromise. This is not the easy way, but it is the right way. That is why Edgewood, Ross, Hamilton, Madison, Fairfield, Butler Tech, Middletown, and Monroe school districts all read the same recommendations and guidelines from the CDC and Butler County Health Department that you all read. And then they decided to give families a choice about masking their children. Our children are watching how we treat each other. We as parents and taxpayers deserve the right to have our voices heard, to not feel like we're being silenced. We know our child's social, emotional, and physical health histories best. I see friends and neighbors and even families divided on this issue. We do not need more division in this community. Please follow the gold standard that has been set by public school districts in Butler County and give families the right to choose. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Carissa Schnell, and I live in Oxford with my husband and son. I have 13 years of experience teaching everybody's favorite subject, middle school math. I know you love it. I taught in various states, including Kansas, North Carolina, California, and Ohio, in public schools, private schools, and for the Department of Defense. Initially, I was going to speak tonight as a mom, and here's the short of it. We have zero affiliation with Miami. And we're not townies either. We moved here 3 years ago simply to enjoy Oxford, and so our son could have access to advanced classes. He loved Mr. Heilman's challenges and reminders to persevere, Mrs. Pearson's inquiry-based projects, was inspired by Ms. Hamilton's love of reading, and was ecstatic to be in Miss Sam's class, even though he never had a chance to meet her face to face. But he loved her. The short ending is that at the end of the last year's first 9 weeks, we left. It became clear that at the district level, education was not the priority. And I'm going to go off script here and just say for the record, before you try to trash me on Oxford Talk, that I am pro-teacher. I am a teacher. I am an educator. And just because we speak up for our kids does not mean that the teachers have to be on the automatic defensive. I know how that is, and I know how it feels to have policies come through and emails, and all of a sudden you feel out of control in your classroom, and all you want to do is close the door and teach your kids. Go back on script. So tonight I'm speaking to you, educator to educator, and as an advocate for our kids. We know that when a student comes to school hungry, they have a hard time concentrating. When the home life is unstable, it impacts our students' academic and social development. We also know that throughout all grade levels, any distraction can disrupt the learning environment. Students thrive with stability, consistency, limited distractions, and most importantly, strong relationships. Forcing all kids to wear masks does none of this. For the reluctant learner, it is a place to hide. For the kid who fidgets, it's another distraction. For the child who has a speech issue or struggles with voice projection, it limits their ability to the point where they give up trying to participate. For the difficult student, it is just another point of contention. And for those that strive on reinforcement and belonging, it hides all of those smiles and facial cues all of our kids need for their development and academic success.
15 seconds, ma'am.
I'm just going to totally go off script here then. We have to focus on education, and I know that there is a city mandate coming. Is the city going to be responsible for our kids' educational development? Or will the board take the direction and leadership that it needs to have and ensure that all of our kids have the right to a very successful education? And please, just stand up for our kids. That's all we're asking, is to stand up for the kids. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rick Couch, Hanover Township. This isn't something I'm used to, so I may stumble on my words here. But in 1969, the Supreme Court ruled that the students do not shed their constitutional rights of freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse gate. This is true for other fundamental rights as well. If the school board feels it is appropriate to display, known, and represent the LGBT lifestyle, then they should equally be willing to promote symbols of other ethnic, political, and religious groups. We must promote freedom of speech equally for all. To single out or favor one group over another is a form of discrimination against those not represented and against those of different beliefs. In this case, by promoting and displaying LGBT imagery, you're discriminating against those who don't support it. As a father, I must assure my children's right to practice their faith and follow the Christian teachings and beliefs that we believe in. And we believe these are sacred. And it's protected by our Constitution and is worth protecting from a secular society. Your promoting of the LGBT lifestyle is in direct opposition to their beliefs and our rights as Americans. Displaying symbols associated with the LGBT rights does not belong in the public school systems. Politics should not impact education. If the goal of the school board is to ensure our children receive a quality education, then the display and promotion of this symbol or symbols of other political groups does not belong here. Whether intentional or not, displaying this symbol and promoting this lifestyle is offensive to those that don't support it. I don't believe my rights or the rights of my children should be diminished, desecrated, or impaired by a secular endorsement displayed by Talawanda Public Schools. When I send my children to school, I expect them to attend, participate in classes, follow directions of their teachers, and ultimately, through their education, make a positive contribution to society overall. I don't expect them to be bombarded with the promotion of a specific group in any direction. I pay my taxes and support the school system and its curriculum. I don't intend for my tax dollars to support someone else's political agenda. My tax dollars are spent to provide my children and all these children attending the school system with an education free of this. I come before the board today and ask that you remove the rainbow symbols from the classroom doors. This is a place of learning,
15 seconds,
not
sir.
a place to promote this agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Mindy Napier. I live in Milford Township. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I'm gonna say it again. I removed my daughter from Talawanda School District last year when the decision was made for us to not be able to go back face to face. We've made the decision to return back to College Corner, and I only ask that the board listen to the parents. I'm here fighting for my child's friends because last Wednesday when we started, masks are optional. We got an email 2 days before school that said they were mandated or required to wear them on the bus. I watched an open house of probably about 300 people, kids playing, parents speaking. One adult had a mask on and one child, but it was still their choice. They still have the ability to make that choice. And I asked the board to please look at the parents. At what point are we not allowed to make the correct decisions for our children based on our beliefs, based on our religion? Everybody else in the world has these freedoms. And especially in Butler County, most of the other schools also have this. But a school that's yet 10 minutes down the road from here lives in a very secular, different fishbowl, and I don't really understand it. 3 people spoke last time for masks, and now all of a sudden the entire school has to be masked. Why can't it be the parents' choice? And I will always stand up for the parents here. And maybe, hopefully, one day my kid can come back. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's William Boone. I live on 1570 Oxford Middletown Road, Milford Township. It's really not for them I want to speak to. I also understand they want to try. But I asked them several times last year before pulling my 3 boys out of school. I came here to see him, but he wouldn't see me. Why is it they're out on the football field? Basketball, I mean, that's a real aggressive sport. Play it. No mask. That's where you're going to get it at. Hell, when I wrestled, the biggest thing you had to worry about was getting ringworm and stuff, you know, because your opponent probably wasn't clean. You know. But again, I agree with it. It's everyone's choice. I don't know how many of you are in the health field. Hell, I'm weighing the option going to Montana maybe. A little bit more laid back, I hope. But I'm trying to raise my kids right, trying to protect them. I don't need these guys to protect them because they're not. It's gotten political, it's gotten financially, has also gotten into the religious state of it. Right before I pulled my kid out of school. Very political mask. CNN and stuff. Again, I'm not picking on no one for what side you're on. This is just an observation. My boy wears a mask of his choice. Mask stopped with that. They went back to plain mask. Can't get no answer from these guys. Tried it several times last year. Believe in it.
Sir,
They'd make my kids
sir,
go to
sir,
school.
sir, if you could just address the board and not other people.
I am addressing the board.
Okay.
You can hear me,
I
but I'm
can.
talking to them because they're the ones that care about their kids.
Very good.
You couldn't answer my questions last year. You can't answer them now. And you won't. You're going to do what the CDC and OSHA and all that says, and by the time you say do this and do that, hearts out for all of you. Every one of you. We're against it. It's only going to get worse if we don't take it back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jacob Schulte from Oxford Township. I would like full transparency to both the parents and the school board here. I am not a parent, but I am a taxpayer. My taxes go to the police to protect our community. My taxes go to the road workers to plow our streets. My taxes go to the school board to educate our kids and not give them medical advice. Furthermore, I believe that it is the best interest of the parents to decide what is best for their kids. Parents, up until the age of their children are the age of 18, parents can decide when the kids get driving permits, what food they eat, where they go to school, so on and so forth. I believe face masks should be the best interest of the parents and let the parents decide. Everything we do as citizens of the United States is a calculated risk. When we drink alcohol, alcohol has liver disease, liver cancer, so on and so forth. When you eat food, diabetes, same issue. Everything you do as an individual is a calculated risk that you take. You are a free American and you have those rights to decide. When you drive a car, drunk driving, drinking and driving, car accidents happen. Again, that is a calculated risk. You get in the car, you turn the key, you don't know what's around the next corner, but you decided to do that because that was the best interest of yourself. Furthermore, I believe doctors and other medical professionals will give the best insight towards the interest of their own occupation. When you go to a wood hardware store, they're going to try to sell you hardware equipment. When you go to the grocery, they try to sell you food. Mechanics will try to sell you car parts. Medical professionals will give you the best interest of their own profession. But again, that is a calculated risk. Everyone needs to look at and examine all sides and all areas and aspects. But face masks have a lot of other issues too. As we've seen in the last year, there's a lot of emotional issues, social issues that have gone into it. There are, some students have a really hard time still being able to concentrate and focus with the face masks. As a taxpayer, I want to make sure that the kids in this community that go on to be the next generation of community members get the best education that they can and that they are willing to provide as the school. I don't want any sort of mandate to hinder their ability to learn as students. And I have a personal fear as someone that might have a touch of maybe ADD or ADHD, that face masks might have a hint or ability to maybe hinder some of their educational experiences. So I ask the board that to take all conditions and all of the interests of the community into perspective, and I kindly ask that the board does not do a face mask mandate for our students and our community members. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Melissa Gillespie, Oxford Township. Last year we had took our daughter out of your school district and moved her to College Corner because you guys wouldn't give us the choice to go back face to face. My daughter was sitting trying to learn on a computer 6 hours a day. Our lives were just, it was a nightmare every day. And we, like I said, you wouldn't give us a choice. You were the only district a year ago that would not give us a choice, and here we are again. Now we're here this year, and you guys will not give us a choice when everybody else in our county with the exception of maybe somebody today, not giving us a choice. And it's ridiculous. I just want to ask you guys, are any of you guys parenting right now, doing this? Anybody on the board? Anybody? You didn't have to teach your kids online last year. You have no skin in the game. I'm sorry. You don't understand what it's like every day as a parent. I don't know what I'm going to do with my high school son come Wednesday. I don't know if I'm going to send him or I'm going to have to homeschool. We're going to have to disrupt our lives again. We are asking for a choice. I mean, no disrespect for any of you, but you guys are constantly touching your mask. Mrs. Roberts, you're not even wearing your mask appropriately. I'm just saying.
I'd ask that you address me and not the other board members, please.
You're all the board. You are all the board. I am a taxpayer and I am a parent, and I am addressing all of you. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. And I'm tired of online, like on our social media and everything, it is a double standard around here. It's a double standard. And we're using our kids as political pawns, and I feel like we're putting our kids on the front line as to whether or not they're gonna come and wear a mask. And if we don't wear a mask, I've even seen it in Dr. Throw's emails that they're gonna separate our kids. Segregation! It is segregation.
Sure.
No, I would really like for you guys to speak. We're asking you all these questions. Can you please tell us, is that what you're seriously gonna do if we send our kids on Wednesday with no masks? Are you gonna separate them and put them in another room? I want to know that. I'm just asking.
Ma'am, could you just let the person speaking speak?
We are just asking for answers, okay? We don't mean any disrespect, but we are parents. We know what's best for our kids. And I just say, you guys have no skin in the game. You are not parenting these kids. We are. And you don't know how hard parenting is to begin with. Yes, I'm sure you do if you have kids. Parenting's hard. But now it's even harder. And you guys work for us. You say you want the best interest of the kids. Where is your best interest of the kids? Wearing a mask? Nobody can even wear it right as adults. I don't like them. How do we expect our kids to sit here for 8 hours a day?
15 seconds, ma'am.
I would just like to know, are we gonna hear from you at the end of this when we all speak? Because we have questions and we would like them answered. Thank you.
Anyone else? Ma'am, it's not your turn to address the board.
My name is Jennifer Volmer. I live in Riley Township. I just have a quick question. You all removed your mask during your respected reports at the beginning of the meeting. Will my child be given the same right when he speaks at school?
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Amy Shaman, 11 Heather Ridge Court. I've been a member of this community for 16 years, and I have a child at Kramer. Thank you for the opportunity to comment this evening. I, too, would like to present a community petition. The following text was signed by at least 245 concerned adult citizens in support of requiring masking, and I will be submitting the list for the official record via email. Thank you. Here's our text. We support the current mask mandate for our elementary schools. Without an available...
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to be quiet or we're going to have you leave.
I'll start again. We support the current mask mandate for our elementary schools. Without an available vaccine for this population, masks are the next best line of defense against COVID-19 infections. We also encourage the Talawanda School Board to consider mandating masks across the district in line with recommendations from both the American Academy of Pediatrics and the Center for Disease Control. We support the use of masks in schools as a uniform measure to help protect all our students, faculty, and staff. Even when vaccinated, transmission is still possible to others, especially those in households who have as yet been unable to receive the vaccine. We know that not all individuals eligible for the vaccine have received it. A uniformly applied mask requirement would better protect the whole Talawanda community. We urge board members to keep the current masking policy in place and to please consider expanding it. And that is the end of the petition. I would like to also add that thank you for hearing the comments expressed in the petition that I just mentioned, and thank you for all that you've already done. I would like to take a moment and add a comment on behalf of myself and my family. Certain actions by the district suggest that COVID-19 is not consistently being taken seriously. For example, there is a required all-teacher meeting tomorrow in this very auditorium, and masks are optional. Why is the district taking the risk of teachers inadvertently infecting each other and then potentially bringing the virus to our kids the very next day in face-to-face classrooms? The Delta variant is transmissible between vaccinated people and also to unvaccinated people. Many of our kids are not vaccinated. Dr. Thoreau, why are you willing to take this risk? There are other options, for example, a virtual training or in-person training with masks requested for all. We do not tell kids allergic to peanuts and tree nuts that their allergy is optional and a matter of free choice, and that the danger isn't real. We take it seriously, and those around that child avoid peanuts and tree nuts. We protect each other.
15 seconds.
Some of our schools have a motto to take care of yourself, take care of each other, and take care of our school. We adults must also live up to that responsibility. Masks should be required for all in district buildings. Thank you.
Ma'am. Officer, would you ask her to leave, please?
Hi, my name is Natalie Boyd. I live in Hanover Township. I currently have 4 children in your district. 3 of them we removed last year that had IEPs and took them to College Corner because of your decisions. So far, they are enrolled in Talawanda this year. We will see. I would like to just point out a few things that while working for the city of Oxford, which I'm sure I won't any longer after this, the majority of you in here, even wearing masks, attended the aquatic center all summer long, not wearing masks and not social distancing. Second of all, I agree with the question asked that you all removed your masks while you were speaking. My 2 youngest, who have speech therapy multiple times a week, are not allowed to remove their mask last year, but you did. So my other question is, can you honestly tell me that you have not gone to a restaurant and sat at that table and ate and enjoyed your meal? Why can my child not sit at their desk and learn?
Thank you.
Hello, my name is James Hatfield. I live in Oxford Township. Sorry, I'm not good at speaking, so this is going to be short and sweet. Exactly what she just said and what all these fine people have said, I agree with her as well. Not about making it mandatory, but optional. She wants her child to wear a mask, that's fine. We want our child not to wear a mask. That should be fine as well. Stand up for our children. We want optional.
Children in the Talawanda district. I have 1 child that cannot speak as it is. Tell me how you're going to understand him when he has something like this. How is he going to learn from the teachers to speak? He's not. I have another child that got put on anxiety medication because of the mask. Come on, guys, what's going on? How are you going to help my child learn with a mask on their face? My child can't take that mask off to talk to you. He's not going to be able to tell you exactly what's wrong. He's going to end up peeing his pants in the school because he can't tell you. And you're going to keep his face covered. You can't see his face. You can't see if he's upset. Thank you.
Good evening. Mike Dittman, Hanover Township. No, I'm not going to talk about the masks. As the one gentleman said, us older people should be afraid. I'm one of those people. But I'm really not afraid because there are risks in everyday life around here. And the thing I believe that this school needs to look at is the thing I've talked about for 12 or 13 years now, our overspending. And I'm glad to see all these people here. I wish they were here all the time to hear all the decisions that are made and understand where they come from and so forth. You know, I've talked about per pupil costs. Well, let's talk about total cost. I've mentioned this numerous times. This is not my opinion, folks. I don't have an opinion on this. It's data. It's the data that the treasurers of all these schools put out. And I look at our 5-year forecast. I see we're looking at $38 million this year for 2022. We have a neighboring district down the road that has almost as many children as we do, called Ross. And their budget is $28 million. That's $10 million, folks. And now I hear all these rumblings about a levy. Folks, we don't need a levy. We need leaders that are willing to stand up, make the hard choices. And you can't provide everything to everybody. You know, we're not Miami University. We do not have unlimited funds. We have to live within our budget. All of us do. And the school needs to. And it's time to do it. I mean, I've been preaching this for 12 years. And I haven't seen hardly any movement. We had this audit report. There was a work session. We were going to look at cutting $1 million or $2 million. As far as I know, that just went off to Neverland. Like most things when it looks at finances, I don't know where they stand. And the other thing, you know, the main thing here is the education. And we are not keeping up. We have slipped. Now, it's good to hear that the special students are doing well and met all the criteria. But we're still, as far as I know, a C. And we're paying for an A+. I don't know what else we can do, but I guess complain. Maybe we need some change in leadership here at the board level.
15 seconds, sir.
I didn't mean for that to happen, but
15 seconds.
You know, I do appreciate you all serving. And especially on a night like tonight, I'm sure you're sitting there looking at yourself saying, why did I sign up for this? I mean, this is not easy. And I understand that for all of you. It's very difficult. And again, thank you for serving. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And hope things look better in the future. Thank you.
All right, I'm Zachary Russell. I live in Dartown, Ohio. Good evening, board members, teachers, and fellow parents. Tonight, in this room, we have two groups of people who are doing and fighting for what they believe is best for their children. They put their jobs, relationships, and reputations on the line. And I would like to acknowledge both groups for having the courage to do so. Our nation and our community have been living divided like never before. Over the past year, we have witnessed our teachers, our parents, and our students displaying hate, disrespect, and disgust towards one another, and enough is enough. Our students are suffering. Our children are suffering. If you follow the science, which is what they've told us to do this whole time, right? You'll find facts. Science is a study of facts, not opinions, just in case you guys forgot. The CDC website has the data if you believe in them, and I printed it out for you. And they tell you that 354 kids between the ages of 0 and 17 have died of COVID since it started. If you do the math, that's about 7 kids per state. What you may not know is that since February of this year in Ohio alone, 172 young people ages 10 to 24 have committed suicide. Suicide is up 417% in the past 10 years between the ages of 10 and 14. 417%. 37 counties in Ohio are above the national average for suicide. You can find all this on the ODH website, but I did you a solid and printed it out for you so you can put it in your records in case you forget. Our teenagers are hiding behind phones and keyboards, keeping their emotions to themselves because they lack the communication skills and the relationships that they need. And now you want to mask our youngest children again. During the most crucial years, when they learn to read and write and how to form relationships and conversations, depression is killing our kids, and at a much higher rate than COVID. How many more kids are going to slip through the cracks and get left behind? We must pull our kids out of the darkness. We must show them the light and be the light that this nation and district needs so dearly. We have to find... Excuse me?
15 seconds.
I got it. We have to find common ground. We need to agree to disagree. We live in America where we are allowed to share different opinions and ideas. There's a way that both parties can walk out of here winners tonight, and that is for this school board to rewrite its mask policy, make it optional for those who choose to use them, and let the parents decide, because we do know our children best. I'm Zachary Russell, 2005 graduate of Talawanda, and I'm opposed to masking our children. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Becca Asher, Hanover Township. I wasn't planning on being here tonight. I just want to say that I'm one of the people that supposedly in this pandemic people are trying to protect. I'm sick. I've been on an IV and infusion. During this pandemic, it blocks one half of my immune system. I'm not masked. I'm not vaccinated. I am not for masking our kids. I do not want my kids masked. If anything, I would like you to make it optional for parents to decide this for themselves. That's really all I have to say. I saw how the pandemic affected my own kids, and it was detrimental to their mental health, and I just want to see things be more positive this coming school year. So just, if anything, make it optional. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pam Hodgson. I live on Oak Hill Drive. I have 3 kids in the district at Bogan and TMS. In regards to masks, I first want to address the idea for them to be optional. Masks are not the same as helmets, seat belts, giving your child medicine. We've heard again and again, my mask protects you, your mask protects me. I would love for them to be optional, honestly. I would love for them to work that way, but they don't work that way. That is why optional cannot work. In addition, my son and I have already experienced a student making fun of us for wearing masks at middle school orientation. This will be a continuous problem if masks are optional. As another speaker came up to talk, I heard somebody say, "Oh boy, here we go." And then everybody like, ooh, laughing as she took off her mask. These are adults. How is this gonna work at school? How is optional gonna work at school and for kids to not be made fun of? Kids that have been remote are looking forward to returning safely. My children have been remote this past year, and they really wanna go back in person. They know they're gonna have to wear masks, and they are happy with it. They've worn masks during play dates this summer when little kids are very close, My middle child has done gymnastics, wearing a mask just fine, and my oldest son did pole vault while wearing a mask. The decision made on July 8th, other than overlooking the fact that sixth graders aren't 12 yet, was a great decision at the time. It made perfect sense to only require masks in the buildings that kids are unable to have the option to vaccinate, and that at the middle school and high school, teachers and students have had the opportunity, the choice, to vaccinate. However, in the past month, we have learned that unfortunately, it is becoming more and more frequent that vaccinated individuals are getting mild or asymptomatic cases of COVID and transmitting to others. This exact thing happened to one of our neighbors this very week. The kids in their household will not be able to return yet on Wednesday. Fortunately, they did go ahead and get tested. I'm very concerned that TMS and TH students and teachers will carry COVID home to their unvaccinated siblings and children. We've also hit top numbers of kids hospitalized for COVID, in addition to my concerns about long-term health issues. I love the data. I need to listen to that data of like only 300 and something kids have died from it. Like, horrible for those kids and those families. That is reassuring. But the long-term health issues are worse than the temporary discomfort of the mask. Plenty of psychological issues for my kids that have had to stay at home this past year as well.
Yeah.
Of course, my opinion shouldn't
Ma'am.
carry.
You need to wrap it up, please.
Okay. Of course, my opinion shouldn't carry any more weight than my friends' opinions here. But we must listen to the experts. Okay? The CDC and American Academy of Pediatrics recommend universal mask wearing for kids K through 12. We must listen to the experts even when their new information is disappointing. Keeping kids in school and healthy long term should be our top priority. Thank you.
We've gone on for quite a while. I'll let last person speak.
Hello, my name is Matt Garland. I live in Hanover Township. I have 4 kids in 3 different buildings, elementary, middle school, and the high school. I would ask you to consider everyone's financial situation and ability to pay for if your child gets the sniffles, my child, our children, whether you are in favor of a mask or an option for a mask. If my child goes to school and has common cold, is she going to be sent home, or is he going to be sent home and told you cannot come back to school unless you have a negative COVID test? For my family, that's a $130 minimum charge. I have a high deductible health care plan. Are you going to help me with that? Or can my kid just get sick because I know what she's like, I know what he's like? I'm asking you to consider that for every family in this district. Thank you.
All right, that's going to conclude our public participation. Report of the treasurer, Ms. Stafowski.
I am recommending that we block 5A through 5D and that the board approve the following as presented. Approval of the July 8th, 2021 minutes, approval of the gifts, approval of the appropriation modifications, and approval of any then and nows over $3,000.
Do I have a motion to approve 5A, B, C, and D?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. Is there any questions?
I do want to thank the Oxford Community Foundation again. We could almost do that monthly for the donation they made.
Any other comments? Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Dr. Knight-Abowitz? Yes. Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Otto?
Yes.
Dr. Roberts? Motion passes. Next item up is 5E, and it is recommended that the board approve the July financial report as presented.
Or do I have a motion to approve 5E? Thank you. Do
I'm
we
sorry,
have-
who said that?
Dr.
Thank you.
Roberts? Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Dr. Roberts? Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Dr. Knight Abowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Mr. Otto?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next up is 5F, and it is recommended that the board approve the fund-to-fund advance return from the food service fund to the general fund. This initial advance was needed to close out the fiscal year 21 school year.
So do I have a motion to approve 5F?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Is there any questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Dr. Roberts? Dr. Knight Abowitz? Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Otto?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item up is 5G, and it is recommended that the board approve the criteria architect selection resolution authorizing the superintendent and treasurer to begin contract negotiations.
Can you explain that further, what that's about?
Okay, so this is for the bus and the maintenance garage that we need, and legal proceedings, we first did the request for qualifications. We received those. Now we have to rank them based on a matrix rubric, and I've ranked them the top 3. And now we are asking for authorization to start those discussions with those architect firms. We will go with number 1. If that does not work, then we will move to number 2. If that is not acceptable, then we move to number 3. Based on that, we will go into contract negotiations. We will bring that contract to the board for approval. And we need to do this before we can even go and do an RFP with a contractor to actually build it.
I thank you. I think sometimes we go so fast, the public's like, what did they just vote
No,
on?
I understand.
And we're talking about an architectural selection, which means it's about a new building.
It is.
And it's about the bus service building that we have to
I'd like to remind everybody
replace, that we're losing ours.
that exactly what you were just saying. So with the Butler County Regional Transportation Project that is set to start in the spring, or maybe a little bit earlier, our facilities and our bus, we have 2 departments that we lease out from Miami. That lease will be expiring in April, and we'll be able to stay as long until they start building. But we need to find or build a new building, which we've talked about in the last couple of meetings. We looked at joining the Butler County Regional Transportation, and it was going to cost us a little over $3 million, $3.05 million, to join into the Butler County Regional Transportation Project to build a new bus lot, plus the facilities, and we would not own any of it, and we would have to lease it from Butler County Regional Transportation, who then leases the land because the land's owned by Miami. So the concerns that we brought up at I believe it was the last meeting, was there would be no ownership. So we went and we did a rough estimate of what it would cost to build our own. And we were looking around $2.4 million to build our own, but we would own it, and we would maintain it, and we would have value for it versus being subject to a lease at any point in time. We would not have control, and we would have no ownership of putting in $3 million of taxpayer money for it. I just want to catch everyone up.
Well, I appreciate the information. I just think we have a lot of people here that
Agreed, that's why
we're going quickly, and
Yep.
I think it's
Agreed.
important to point out why the decision was made to build a new bus barn. So thank you very much, Dr. Throw.
Oh, you're fine.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve 5G? Thank you, Dr. Roberts. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mead. Any questions or discussions? Please call the roll.
Dr. Roberts? Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Dr. Knight Abowitz? Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Otto?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item up is 5H, and it is recommended that the board approve a lease agreement with the Butler County Educational Service Center for the 21-22 school year for the Head Start program, which will be at Marshall Elementary.
I just add, this will probably be our last year being able to offer Head Start, because if we continue to grow at Marshall, like we've done in other buildings with class sizes, we won't have any more spaces for it. We're still offering our own pre-K, but Head Start is the full-day pre-K program. That's run by Butler County Educational Service Center.
So do I have a motion to approve 5H?
So moved.
Thank you. Dr. Howard, do we have a second?
Second.
Any other questions or discussions? Please call the roll.
Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Dr. Knight Abowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Otto?
Yes.
Dr. Roberts? Motion passes. Next item up is 5I, and it is recommended that the board approve an omnibus agreement with the Butler County Educational Service Center for fiscal year '22.
So do I have a motion to approve 5I? Thank you, Dr. Roberts. Do I have a second? Thank you, Dr. Knight Abowitz. Is there any questions or discussion?
Can you explain what it is that BCESD, it's omnibus, it has nothing to do with busing, but what does it have to do with?
So we do
What are
not
they doing?
contract out, or we do not, every personnel item is not paid by Talawanda. Sometimes we contract out because we have a higher pool of candidates. So we have our IT department, some of our nursing department, some of my department paid out through the Butler County ESC. We have some physical therapists, some audio and hearing. It's just an avenue, a different avenue of hiring our staff. So this is what this omnibus is. We've been doing.
I can add some more to it. For example, if we need visual services for a student, it often is a couple of students, not enough for a full-time or half-time person. So we can enter into an agreement, and that person through Butler County Educational Service Center might service us and 3 or 4 other districts or 1 other to make a full-time position. Often those positions are hard to find. That also goes for audiology, nursing, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech and language. So those are the reasons why sometimes it's good to join in through Butler County ESC so that we can get high quality people, because on our own, we're required by law to provide these services. That's the other issue.
Are there any other comments? Call the roll.
Dr. Roberts? Dr. Knight Abowitz? Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Mr. Otto?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item up is 5J, and it is recommended that the board approve a memorandum of understanding with the Butler County Educational Service Center to provide service through the Union Day Therapeutic School at a cost of $115,500.
So do I have a motion to approve 5J?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Mead. Do I have a second? Thank you, Dr. Knight Abowitz. Is there any comments?
So this contract, we have students that may have significant needs. And in this one in particular that we're talking about, the needs, behavioral, medical, could be academic, their least restrictive environment is a residential type of education, which we do not provide here at Talawanda. So all school districts have these few students, and per their IEP, they are placed out into these types of programs. You're welcome.
Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Dr. Knight Abowitz, Dr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Otto,
Yes.
Dr. Roberts. Motion passes. Next item up is 5K, and it is recommended that the board approve a resolution to approve 2 easements attached hereto to the city of Oxford for the purpose of construction and maintenance of a recreational trail on Board of Education property.
So do I have a motion to approve 5K?
So moved.
Howard, do I have a second? Thank you, Dr. Knight Abowitz. Is there questions or discussion? Thank you. Would you please call the roll?
Dr. Howard,
Yes.
Dr. Knight Abowitz, Mr. Mead,
Yes.
Mr. Otto,
Yes.
Dr. Roberts. Motion passes. Next item up is 5L, and it is recommended that the board approve the managed print services and maintenance agreement with ComDoc for the period from 7/1/21 through 6/30/23.
Do I have a motion to approve 5L?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. Do we have a second?
Second.
Comments?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
This is Dr. Howard and then Mr. Mead.
Thank you.
And this is, my understanding, is going to reduce our costs or is going to lower our costs?
There will. So we were able to lower the cost per click or cost per copy, and it should save us roughly $5,000 to $6,000 a year.
Good. Any other comments or questions? Would you please call the roll?
Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Dr. Knight Abowitz? Mr. Otto?
Yes.
Dr. Roberts. Motion passes. The only other thing that I have for you tonight is to let you know that our GAAP financials are being prepared, and hopefully they will be done by the end of next month. Our annual audit will be starting soon. The state will be conducting that versus an external auditing company, and they will be on site doing their field work at the beginning of September. The only other item I have is a recommendation that based on our construction needs for the bus and the maintenance department, I am requesting that we do an additional work session in the month of August, September, and October, just to keep the project moving. Just for an example, if we go and we are able to negotiate a contract by the end of this week with the first architect firm, we would then have to wait until our next board meeting in September to get that contract approved. And then we would have to wait another month for the RFP for the contracting firms, the construction companies. So I would like to keep this project moving, and so I am requesting that we meet every 2 weeks, one with a regular board meeting and one with a work session.
The next 3 months. We had to do a similar thing at Butler Tech. We're building a new science, natural science center building out in Monroe. And so we're having an extra meeting to make sure the timing
Yes,
of those contracts
correct.
and construction stay on target. So
Exactly, yes.
that gives me 4 board meetings every month for a while.
So I'll ask everyone to contact Shauna with available dates, and then she can set a time for us.
About possible dates that she can do,
Yes,
and then we can respond.
I will do that tomorrow morning.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, I'm done.
Report of the superintendent, Dr. Thoreau.
I also am going to block 6A. I'm asking for the recommendation of the approval of the following. Approval of certificated licensed personnel, which is approval of amending of a contract, accepting of a resignation, approval of new teacher contracts, approval of a building substitute teacher, and approval of an unpaid child care leave. So that is 6A, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 6B 6B, which is the acceptance of a resignation of classified personnel and approval of substitute for classified staff employees. So that's 6B, 1 and 2. And then 6C, 1, which is several supplemental contracts, asking for the approval of that as well.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve 6A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, B, 1 and 2, and then C, 1?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts. Do I have a second? Thank you, Dr. Knight Abowitz. Any questions?
Not a question, but I would like to ease some concerns that were expressed over the spring about the drama program, and that one of these supplemental contracts is for a new part-time drama person who's going to be taking over that program here at the high school. So drama is in place, plays will be directed.
Any other comments? Would you please call the roll?
Dr. Roberts? Dr. Knight Abowitz? Dr. Howard?
Yes?
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Mr. Otto?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, the next one is just a mask mandate and COVID-19 update. At this point in time, I am just providing information and reminding what is in place currently at Talawanda School District. We continue to meet with Jenny Baylor, who is one of the 3 Butler County Commissioners in Health Department. The Health Department is the only agency that can quarantine and isolate students. We work with them on a daily basis to find out if staff or students need to be quarantined. They are still using, as you've read, the revised recommendations to quarantine. If both parties are wearing masks, they may not be quarantined, even if they're less than 3 feet of distance, except for, positive cases. If one's wearing a mask and one isn't wearing a mask, or both aren't wearing masks, they will use that 6-foot rule, 15 minutes that they used in the past. We will continue to monitor the data and what's going on. Currently, at the July board meeting, the board mandated that the elementary students and visitors would need to wear masks. Grades 6 through 12 would be optional. Bus riders, per the CDC federal government, anybody that's riding a bus must wear a mask at this point in time. That one may expire in September, but I'm not sure at this point in time. Again, that's a federal CDC mandate with conveyances, and I actually looked into the matter of that with our attorneys because it talked about conveyances and not buses. And the attorneys were clear to say that no, it does apply to schools and school buses. Here. Currently, we have 3 staff members that are quarantined or isolated. We've had very few during the summer months of being isolated and quarantined, but now the health department is stating that the cases are rising not only in Butler County, but otherwhere. Butler County Health Department has hired an agency to help contact tracing. We will still have our cares room in each of the buildings, so when somebody's sick or comes in, that we can isolate and keep them healthy until they can be picked up as much as possible. We're also required to notify Butler County Health Department on a daily basis. We also can't ask vaccination status starting in mid-October. That's one of the legislation laws that came in, so I am going to suggest to people that if you receive a call from a nurse or Butler County Health Department, you may, if you've been vaccinated, update with them, because at some point in time we can't determine or ask that question. Goal. Our goal is to open to in-person learning. That has been the goal of mine as well as the board up here, and keeping everyone safe and healthy. That is the mask mandate and COVID-19 update.
I think at this time, Mr. Otto, we should have a discussion about where we are with the mask mandate and possibly put forth a motion to change our recommendation. I think a lot of people came and expect to hear from us. And I know it's frustrating. I used to come to the board and speak, and the board would sit like stones, and then they'd go on with their meeting, and I always thought, when are they going to address what I brought up? And I think I'd like us to have a discussion about what we think is the best thing for the students in our school district. And I'd put forth 4 possible scenarios. One is that we undo our July 8th vote, and I don't need any reaction for this comment, undo our July 8th vote and get rid of the mask mandate completely. A second choice would be to reaffirm our July 8th vote that we're going to mandate mask K to 5 in the elementary buildings. A third option would be to expand that through the middle school, since many students of that age are not vaccine eligible. And a fourth option would be expand it K to 12. And I would appreciate a conversation about it, and then when it seems like the conversation's done, I'll put forth a motion for us to vote on, if that's okay, Mr. Otto.
Can I just add one more statement I forgot
Sure.
to mention as you're considering this? I know somebody's already mentioned it earlier too. The city of Oxford may take a vote tomorrow on mandating masks indoors. And I know some people out here may not understand, but the high school and middle school, as well as Kramer, but Kramer, if it's affirmed what it is right now, already has a mask mandate in place. But the middle school and high school would also be required or be in violation of an ordinance if that was to pass.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I understand the cities, that's on their agenda tomorrow. I think theirs may say, the last I heard, 6th grade or age 6 and up. However, that would not supersede the school district's policy if we kept K to 5. The students in our preschool and kindergarten would still have to mask if we kept our policy, even though the city just has it for, Walmart and Kroger is age 6 and up.
Yeah, it depends
Right.
on.
So
I
not
don't
to
know what
confuse
that's gonna
parents,
look like.
if we keep ours and the city passes theirs, it doesn't mean kids under 6 don't have to wear a mask at Kramer. They still would have to wear a mask at Kramer if we kept that.
Correct.
I don't know if any of the board members want to jump in, and
I can start.
you might want to move your microphone closer. You're
Yeah,
soft.
I can start. First of all, I appreciate people coming to the meeting. I appreciate people speaking passionately. I appreciate all the emails. I read every single one, even though I don't respond to every single one. I hear how afraid and upset people are, and I have 2 priorities as a board member. It's to keep staff and students safe all year long. I know the numbers are probably going to be fairly low for our district, God willing, but I don't want a single person to get really sick or die of this disease that we could have prevented by following public health guidelines. And the second priority for me as a board member is to keep schools open face-to-face all year long. And this will keep our students emotionally healthy as possible during a pandemic and keep learning going without any disruptions, or as few disruptions as possible for our staff and our students and our and everybody else. And so one of the things I wanted to respond to that people said is what about being masked? Kids weren't masked all summer at the pool or whatever. Kids are not mandated, you know, to go to the pool, but they're mandated by law to get an education. And so because they're mandated to get an education, this becomes a site where COVID risk increases in the whole community. That's just the numbers of bringing a whole lot of people together into buildings where we cannot make them be 6 feet apart. It doesn't work. And because they're required to be here or be somewhere to be educated, we have to think about our responsibility when that happens. And because our community, like so many other communities, is so divided on this issue, we have to listen to public health experts. And the public health experts are being pretty consistent that they want everybody masked. And I don't think that's what's going to happen if we make masking optional. And so I'm very concerned that even if 1 or 2 kids got really sick, that's 1 or 2 kids that too many for me. So that's what I'm wrestling with, and that's what I'm thinking about as a board member.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead, Regine.
I agree with Kathleen, Dr. Abowitz, Knight Abowitz. My top priority is to keep these schools open. I know what it did to our students and teachers and faculty and our non-certified people as well. The mental health has been a huge issue. I want to keep them open. And I know that I've listened and I've read, and I appreciate your thoughts and taking your time to come. And as Mike Dittman said, we'd love to see you every time. We are here to serve you, and that's what we do. And we want to make sure that our students can be in school all year long. The safety is the second thing. We are required as a board to look at what we are doing to make sure that anyone in our building will be safe. And right now, that's a very, very difficult thing. Those are the 2 things, just like Kathleen has said, that I stand for. And I want you to understand, I have listened and I have read, and I get it. I was a parent, I'm a grandparent. I go to a lot of school districts visiting student teachers, and I will be required in every one of those school districts to put a mask on before I walk in. So please understand, this is not an easy decision. We are listening.
Thank you. I don't have a lot to add other than I'm not necessarily opposed to revisiting the July decision for different reasons, but I am reluctant to revisit that decision until we know what the city council is going to decide for Oxford. My concern is that if we put one thing in place and then the city council decides something else tomorrow night, that it's going to be even more cross-communication and misunderstanding. I don't know if we can instead agree to revisit, to come back after that city council decision, if there's some way we can think about that, but that would be my concern, would be the confusion, contradictory information that is going to occur if the city mandates something that we don't already have in place.
The possibility they're going to mandate something we don't have in place.
Mm-hmm.
If they vote tomorrow night to have a citywide indoor mask mandate, then our middle school and high school students will be required to wear a mask per the city ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
And we will not have done it tonight. If we do it tonight and they vote no, our students will be required to wear masks. I mean, I'm not sure where the confusion is going to be. If one or the other group does it, the students have to wear it. If neither of them do it, the students don't have to wear it. If the city does it, it's the only confusion might be if our vote is to get rid of our K-5 mask mandate, and then the city does a mask mandate, then Kramer will be under the mask mandate, and Bogan and Marshall will not. That would be the most confusing thing. But if we kept our K-5, then our 3 elementaries stay on the same page, and either we or the city make a decision about what to do about the middle school or high school. As much as I'd love to let the city do it, I think it's sort of our job to say, voters put us in charge of the school district, we listen to them. And, you know, I raised 6 teenagers who went through these schools, so I know a lot about parenting and about school. And I taught for 40 years in schools, so I know a lot about teenagers. And I think our teenagers are going to understand that which one of these things have to go, and some of them are going to be comfortable and some uncomfortable, depending on which way or what we choose to do. I just think it's our responsibility. We should not shift that onto someone else. I would rather us be the ones who take the stand. These people on whichever side can take their anger out on us, not the staff and not the administration, because it's not their decision. When you send your kids in with the teachers, right now, if you send them in the Kramer and the teacher's asking to put a mask on, please do not give the teacher a hard time. That was not the teacher's decision. That was our decision. And I hope people remember that, to teach our children respect for their teachers, no matter what happens, that we do that as adults, to teach them respect. But I just think we need to own it. We need to step up and own it, and then own the consequences of that. And the consequences might be that one group or another, or this side or another, decide, you know, to vote Mr. Meade out. Whatever the consequences are of our decision, because we made somebody unhappy. That's what happens when you're in government. You make somebody unhappy. Then they have the choice how to respond to what we do, whether to be divisive or respectful or, you know, whatever. They have the choice to respond. We have, I think, the responsibility to do the hard thing and take a vote.
I agree with what everyone said. I think back to where we were last year and how many emails I read and how many were demanding that we keep our schools open. It's so important that we keep our schools open. I think that is our goal. What are the actions are we going to take to make sure it stays open? I think wearing a mask is one of those steps we can take. When do we take it? I mean, when do we stop? That's another criteria we have to determine. I don't know what it is, what is the criteria for determining when we stop wearing masks?
I think it's been pointed out many times to me that I'm not a doctor. I know we have 3 doctors on this board, but none of them are medical doctors, and Dr. Thrill. And so as a person that doesn't know something, I look for somebody that does know something. When something goes wrong with my car, I may take it to a mechanic, I may get a second opinion, but usually, you know, that young man or young woman who went through, hopefully Butler Tech's auto repair shop classes, will recommend to me that you need this done with your car. And me, the non-expert, will probably agree with that person because that is their expertise and job. So as I look, the Butler County Health Department recommends masks. The Ohio Department of Health recommends masks in schools, K to 12. The CDC recommends masks in school, K to 12. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends masks in school, K to 12. They know more than I know. Mr. Meade does not know medicine, but I know those people know more than I know. The Butler County community transmission rate right now is high. When we passed the K to 12 mandate, it was substantial. It's already worse, the transmission rate in Butler County. And the quarantine rules about if you're wearing masks you're less likely to end up in quarantine, takes care of our number one or number two goal, because it's safety and keeping schools open. The quarantine rules, if all those students in the classroom are wearing masks and someone comes up with COVID and the person who got sick was wearing a mask at school, none of those children have to quarantine, and we get to keep having them in school. Our teachers get to keep teaching them and get to instead of having this group out for 12 days and, probably the first football game, these 3 players out, et cetera, because we don't want them to wear masks inside. Now, please don't interrupt me. Inside. And inside is different than outside. It's a very different thing being in a classroom with, I just talked to Miss Gregory, and she said her one class has 34 students in a classroom. Being in a classroom with 34 people breathing the same air is very different than playing at the aquatic center. It's very different. Excuse me, you were asked once not to interrupt.
Ma'am, we really would not have you leave.
Excuse me, I did not interrupt one of you. Thank you for your kindness.
Chris,
Ma'am.
you can do a recess and we can come back.
We're going to take a recess here for a few minutes, and then we'll come back in 15 minutes. Thank you.
So let's go to
Yeah, I lost my train of thought a little bit, Mr. Otto, but I think I had been through the medical experts that I listen to, since I'm not one, had talked about the transmission rate in Butler County being high, had talked about the quarantine rules, making it such if everyone's wearing a mask, we don't lose students to quarantine and they lose valuable days of education, and reiterated that our two main goals can choose not to be in those outside activities. So that's just the way I look at it. And I listened, I've read so many emails, listened to so many things, followed so many links, and read so much medical stuff. I also know that N95 masks are better than others, but you know, there's an old saying, don't let the perfect get in the way of the good. The other kind of mask will work. I had people email me saying my kids' teachers got COVID last year and my kids didn't. And I said, thank you for reiterating that masks work, because your kids were in masks last year. And we did have a low transmission of children getting COVID and other respiratory issues because children were wearing masks last year. And I think that helped in so many regards. I also have faith in our staff and our teachers that they will continue to reach out for students having issues with anxiety and or other issues about COVID in general and the stress level that exists in our country, in our community, the divisions, et cetera. And I have real faith in the people that we have in place in our classrooms, our social workers and our counselors, that they will help any students that are having any problem. And I would encourage parents to continue to reach out. So that pretty much wraps up every thought I had at this point. So, Mr. Otto, if it's okay with you, I would like to make a motion.
All right.
I move that the Talawanda School District adopt a mandatory mask mandate inside all school buildings for all students, staff, and visitors.
Do I have a motion to approve Mr. Mead's motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. Discussions or questions about Mr. Mead's motion? That being said, so we've had a motion, we've had a second on the motion. Do we want to take the roll now?
Would you like to read the motion again so that we have the exact?
Talawanda High School is adopting a mask mandate for the K-12 buildings for all staff, students, and visitors. K-12 buildings would mean inside.
You want to say
Talawanda School District is adopting a mask mandate for all students, staff, and visitors inside K-12 buildings.
Pre-K.
Pre-K. I guess if you want me in the comment section, since we have a motion and a second, I think my thought would be to revisit it when Butler County is out of the substantial and high community spread rate, and maybe possibly when the vaccination rate in Butler County is above its present, which is 48%, or as we have the vaccines available for younger children, that then, you know, that's another thing in the consideration of when to take it off. But that's not part of the motion. Obviously, with everything, we will revisit in a timely manner.
Any other questions or comments? All right, would you call the roll, please?
Dr. Knight Abowitz,
Yes.
Dr. Roberts, Dr. Howard,
No.
Mr. Mead,
Yes.
Mr. Otto?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, moving on, I have asked for the recommendation to approve the treasurer and superintendent have met with Hanover Township, Milford Township, Riley Township, Oxford Township, City of Oxford, and Butler Rural Electric Cooperation to support plans to increase high-speed broadband access for Talawanda School District students, families, and have access. So I am recommending that the Board of Education approve the letter of support and the resolution to increase high-speed broadband in the Talawanda School District. Right now, Butler County Rural Electric is already done one phase of it, and they have worked with Cincinnati Bell and partnered and brought more lines, not only to our school district, but to other school districts. And they're looking at a second phase. The second phase would increase the amount of lines, fiber, that is brought to our school district as well as other school districts. Now, they're not doing all of Talawanda. They're only going to do it to their constituents. But if you live on that street or are a neighbor and you are on the line, fiber, and you are not a rural electric company doing there, you still can join and get access from it. But they're not looking at expanding beyond their customer set. But this is a step in the right direction, because we know we have rural areas, we have areas with very poor internet and high speed in particular. You might have internet, but might not be high speed. So I believe this resolution and this letter of support is a good effort and partnership to get more access to high-speed internet. That's the key, too.
So do I have a motion to approve 6E?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Mead. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Howard, any questions? Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Dr. Knight Abowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Otto?
Yes.
Dr. Roberts?
Yes.
Motion passes.
This next one's really easy. It's recommended that the board approve the overnight extended field trip for our 8th grade students going to Washington, D.C. The departure date is May 17th through May 20th. Again, this will all depend on what's happening with COVID. For instance, like last year, we couldn't go because Washington, D.C. was closed down. There wasn't allowable change, but we need to have this approved so that we could start fundraising and getting things in place, because my hope is that we'll be able to send the 8th graders back to Washington.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve 6F? Thank you, Dr. Roberts. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Knight Abowitz. Any questions?
No, I'm just really happy for the 8th graders if this manages to work this year, because that's a phenomenal trip for the students.
I really appreciate what Mr. Brock is doing for all
Yes.
the students to make sure that every one of them can go.
Any other comments? Would you please call the roll?
Dr. Roberts?
Yes.
Dr. Knight Abowitz?
Yes.
Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Mr. Otto?
Yes.
Motion passes.
I'm almost done. Informational items real quick. So the informational items, tomorrow is opening day for our staff coming together. We will send out an email that everybody will have to wear a mask because they didn't know it at this point in time. Not yesterday. Today, they was actually their first day, and they were coming and set up their rooms. A great news, if you do not know and don't get Marshall news, you may not know this, but the Marshall construction ended up being done earlier than the September 7th date. So the first start for Marshall students, grades 1 through 5, will be August 27th. Pre-K and K have their own different schedules of how they're starting up school. Good news. We're still waiting on the elevator inspection. It is scheduled for tomorrow. There's a lot of work to be done. I know like Mr. Mead was in the building. It's a beautiful building. It's colorful with the elementary scheme. It even has like cutout areas in the hallways where you can do project-based learning. You can have students go work quietly out there, and there's windows in the classroom to see it. You also have doors that can open. They're just like French doors that you can open between some of the classrooms to do two classrooms, meetings, conversations, and of course it's all modernized with technology. We are not doing an open house right at this minute for the community. Our first priority is finishing up the punch list, getting everything done, getting our teachers unpacked. Even though they have 2 weeks, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be packed and unpacked, and we want to get our kids in on time. So that's our first priority. And then there will also be an open house for the parents and families, and then an open house for the community. So that will be coming. Lastly, we are looking, just like everybody else, for employees. We have several classified positions that are open. If anyone's interested in being a paraprofessional or educational aide and can get the licensure, which is not hard to do. If you don't have it, you can take the test for it. We have full-time positions in our resource room, and we have part-time positions throughout the district for lunch, recess, or small time. If you are interested, check our website, or you can simply call us at the board office, and we can explain the positions that are open for you. But we definitely want to fill all positions, and we're having difficulty finding people who are able to work in those positions. And that's it for me.
Dr. Thoreau, I just want to add one little item about Marshall. We do have our owner occupancy, but we still do have a semi-long list of punch list items, but it's cosmetics. It's not the mechanics, it's not the electrical, it's not water, anything like that. It's just cosmetics.
Like a ding on the wall.
Right. So what that means is we are allowed to be in the buildings. We are allowed to educate our children. We are allowed to serve them food. Everything has passed except for the elevator, which will be tomorrow. They will now be working around our schedule as soon as school opens up. So there will still be workers there, but they will be working around our schedule, not the other way around. That's it.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Items from the board members?
I do have one question, and I don't pretend to understand all the logistics of this. I know there have been some families that have had some questions about the policy of limiting the number of bus pickup and drop-off locations, like for divided families, divorced families, that there's been some families that have been told they can't do that, and again, I don't really understand all the logistics around that. I'm wondering if I understood it last year that it had to do with contact tracing to some extent. I've also been informed that Peterman says they can facilitate it, but again, I don't know exactly what is involved with that, and I just would, Dr. Thoreau, if you could give us a little more information on that.
So let me answer this because there's many levels to this.
I suspected.
So as we are moving forward, and you know, as some of the people have talked about some of the cuts we have and haven't done, we have made cuts and we have made savings. And our goal is in September to talk about the audit, talk about some of the savings we've done and some things we haven't done, because some of it's erroneous, some of it's correct, or some of it's just not a priority. We chose a different direction. Some things we did. Busing was a huge issue in the audit. One of the things that we did, and that's something that we can control a lot easier than some of the other areas. We had 30 out of 32 buses. This is pre-COVID now, because COVID changed everything. But eventually, we're going to get back to here. 30 out of 32 buses every day was late between 1 minute and 15 minutes. And that's due to lots of factors. You know, it could be a bus driver giving a little more time to the parent that comes to ask a question at one stop that causes that 30 out of 32, which then, per the contract and per how it's operating, cost us an awful lot of money because it brings us into what I'm calling excessive costs that we have to pay for. So taking the research that we had previous, we also had research that wanted to move the start times later, especially at the secondary level, because there's research on that they need a little bit more sleep, moving that. I was able to compact the schedule. So the middle school and high school are starting 30 minutes later, but, so this is 30 minutes, the elementary was getting out here at 4 o'clock. We only moved them back 15 minutes, not the 30 minutes. That saves us the 15 minutes that I was just talking about. That's step one. So when we start moving kids to different buses day by day, that creates a cost. And I'm going to be honest, that's one. The second issue is it's a safety issue. When kids are going on different buses, whether it's every day or every other day, we have kids that get on the wrong bus. We have kids that are not being picked up at the right stop. We have a safety concern. Third, I looked at surrounding districts, and I've been in other districts as well. We are the only district that provides, in the past, we will drop you off and pick you up anywhere that you want to and drop you off and pick you up anywhere that you want to. And we've always had safety concerns. When I came as a superintendent here, I was very concerned about this, and that's why we started to move in this direction, because it is a huge safety issue, and that's the critical piece of it. Now, state law states for buses, we are to deliver to the custodial parent. I understand there's different law decrees. So instead of just saying you only get one address, we're saying you get one address in the morning and one address in the PM. What that does is it helps us balance out the routes, so it's a savings, but it also limits the amount of changes that are occurring each day so that we know and track kids, and the bus drivers knows who's on that AM and who's on that PM route and gets to know the kids, and there's no going back and forth. So yes. The other thing that we've done and we've talked about is, transporting kids. We transport kids to away games and stuff like that. We have to. I get that. And we've made the flexibility, if families feel uncomfortable with that they can drive their children to games because of whether it's COVID or not. What we found, too, is we're also delivering kids everywhere. If I looked around at other school districts don't have swimming pools. Other districts have the same sports like cross-country, track and field, or whatever. They do not transport their kids back and forth to practices. That's something that the Boosters Clubs, if they wanted to do that, that's something that they raise money for, or they find ways to do that as well. That is a savings, too, right there, by not having the shuttles go back and forth. In the shuttle, I should have brought the number, it's around $86 a day to transport one bus to the kids from the middle school to high school, or reverse. So those were some of the decisions that were made at my level in my office. Again, the safety issues, the priority is saving money that we talked about, and there's got to be some hard decisions made on that. Now, if there is a legal decree out there, we follow the legal decree. Let me be clear on that. But a lot of it is that we have been really good in Talawanda in providing transportation anyway and anyhow that you want it to do. Donna, did I cover it with the excessive costs correctly? I just wanted to make sure of that. And again, we started to see savings last school year on this, and you'll see more when a typical year.
Thank you. I appreciate that explanation. I think also sometimes people don't realize, you want us to cut costs, and we are doing that. We are working on that. We have cut a lot of costs. but sometimes that means things are gonna go away that aren't, that people are not gonna be happy about. So it sounds like you're saying that compared to other districts and other practices, Talawanda has been going kind of above and beyond on that transportation piece.
We still are.
And now we're aligning a little bit more with,
Yes.
with practice that is gonna save us money, but it is gonna cause hardships in some cases.
Yes, our neighboring districts, for instance, you only have one address, AM and PM, and that's it.
Mm.
And and you're only delivering to the custodial parent.
Thank
We
you.
are given 1 AM and 1 PM, so it's a little bit.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? Okay, so our next scheduled meeting is September 20th, and Shauna will be coordinating the next special meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Would you please call the roll?
Dr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Dr. Knight Abowitz?
Yes.
Dr. Howard?
Yes?
Mr. Otto?
Yes.
Meeting's adjourned.